So 3, 2, 1. Just hit 100. Well, this one is the 5.7 liter Hemi, 295 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque with a ZTF 8-speed automatic transmission, which again most trucks usually go for the 10-speed, but the 8-speed in this one does it well. It's smooth and does a very good job at keeping the RPMs low so we can get at least some decent gas mileage. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Today we're in a 2022 Ram 1500 Classic. Yes, it's not a brand new truck, but today's gonna be a little bit more different. We're gonna be talking about the lifespan of this truck and how it's been treating me essentially for these past 3 years or so. And let's start her up. As you can see, our mileage is 72,000 kilometers, and we're sitting at an almost full tank of gas. But let's do a quick little walk around. This one is the 5.7 liter Hemi, 295 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque with a ZTF 8-speed automatic transmission, which again most trucks usually go for the 10-speed, but the 8-speed in this one does it well. It's smooth and does a very good job at keeping the RPMs low so we can get at least some decent gas mileage when just simply cruising with a truck like this. And the V8, the 5.7 at least, has been here for generations, man. One of the most reliable trucks you can get out there, and the transmission paired up with it does a very good job at it. As you can see, the body has taken a beat, not even a beating, has handled the weather well, because remember, we are out here in Canada, and since we do get a little bit of snow, I don't bother changing my tires. The tires are more than enough to deal with the snow out here. This thing has held up pretty well, and for the price, this is one of the best entry-level full-size trucks money can buy. And this is what a key looks like. I went with the basic model package, so it's not going to be anything crazy, but remote start. The engine, the exhaust gives you enough throatiness when you decide to step on it. It's good for daily driving a truck like this. And if you're wondering how the cloth seats have been holding up for the past 3 years of daily use and daily driving, you can see not bad at all, like barely any creasing, still looks brand new. If I were to detail this thing up a little bit more, you wouldn't be able to tell that it's an older truck, except for a couple of scratches in the plastic, which it's fair to keep the cost low. We do have a lot of plastic trim around, which is I can't hate. Another thing you guys must get when you get a truck is this running board down here. These things are must-haves. And if you're wondering how the interior has held up, at least the infotainment screen, although we do have a newer generation that has an upgraded interior with a much more bigger touchscreen essentially going on, our prindle is still the same, and the leather here where you rest your arm is not showing any forms of damaging or morphing. That's not what I was looking for. Morphing. Now, putting on our seatbelt, we're gonna take this thing on the highway, give it a little highway run, and just give you guys a little more about the experience about having this thing for so long. The thing is about these trucks, at least, is that from 0 to 60, this thing should take a good 7 seconds, and the Hemi, again, been here for a generation, is never really stressed, because again, paired with the 8-speed, it's always going to be in its power band. And like, look at my range right now. Well, my average, I'm using 14 liters for every 100 kilometers, which is just due to me stepping on it every 3 seconds I get the chance. But we can be a little bit more efficient with just the simple cruising. So we're gonna turn our screen over into the most efficient part. Okay, and now we're just gonna cruise and let the car do its thing, because as much as people like to make fun of Hemis, these things can be very, very gas efficient if you're not trying to step on it every 3 seconds, such as I do all the time. And it honestly does its job well. The thing about these trucks is that you don't have to worry about too much breaking apart, because they didn't bother to over-engineer the engine. They didn't bother to over-engineer the transmission or any components of these trucks. And it shows. The reliability, all you have to worry about is usually basic maintenance, and these engines will go for a long time. And again, the origins of the Hemi came from muscle cars. The Hemi was made for muscle cars. So putting it into a truck isn't gonna be too different. It still has the power, it still has the torque, you can still have a lot of fun in these trucks. And you can still use it for daily driving. You can be out here towing your boats. You could be out here just living life, essentially. And you know what? It's not bad whatsoever. It does its job well. Gets you from point A to point B. And if you need to tow something, it's there to do the job for you. It's not like one of the more expensive, more pricier trucks out there. Because again, you could say, but Morty, look at all the plastics in here. I don't like my luxury Ram truck, because people do consider Ram luxury, especially if you go for the higher trim models. People do consider them luxury. You say, but nobody looks at mine and says, wow, your car feels so, it looks so nice on the eyes. Again, this one is more closer to the entry-level trim than it is to the higher trims, because the higher trims will have much softer ride suspension, will have air suspension, we have so much more. We have higher trim materials going all around to give you that premium edge that most people will be looking for. This one, to keep the costs low and make it a little bit more affordable, we do get slightly more cheaper materials to use as such. And another thing people would usually point out is, again, not the most torquey thing compared to like a turbo diesel. But the thing is, with turbo diesels, they're not exactly the most daily drivable thing. The thing is, I can turn on this Hemi and just go into stop and go traffic without the engine fully warming up, and it's not gonna be the end of the world. With a diesel, however, that is not the case. The diesel will hate you if you're to do something like that. And frankly, most people don't need a diesel for all the low-end torque that it has and all the power that it has as well. We're about to enter the highway, so we can do a quick little acceleration test, give this car a little bit of extra gas to see how it handles. Because remember, this is a 3-year-old truck right now, to say the least. The Hemis have been discontinued, unfortunately, we all know that, and now been replaced with a Hurricane Inline 6, which is turbocharged, by the way, which, again, Dodge has been known for their Hemis. So for them to go a turbocharged inline 6 route definitely has raised some eyebrows, but we're gonna see how it goes, because it's usually BMW that's known for the turbocharged inline 6s. But Dodge is treading into that territory, so we're gonna see how they handle it, you know? But I honestly have some good hopes, because I see people buying them, I see rental companies renting them out, so just the tides of change. And one of you guys commented in my video, if I want a little bit of more extra torque or sportiness, I have to put it in tow/haul mode. Gives me a little bit of more extra oomph. So we're gonna do a light acceleration going from 40 all the way up to 100. So 3, 2, 1. We just hit 100. Well, I can't step on it too much because people here are going 90 or 80 instead of 100, which it is what it is. But the truck still has oomph, as you guys could hear. You could hear the exhaust let out a little bit. You could hear the exhaust give its little symphony for us as we were stepping on it. We're trying to do a proper 0 to 60, and we're gonna do a little horn test, give you guys a little bit more insight of what this truck has been like. Because remember, through snow, ice, rain, mud, this truck has been there since day one, and it's been pretty much brutalizing the weather. You never really feel unsafe in a truck like this because you're one of the bigger things out there. Besides for the 18-wheelers and the big long-haul trucks out there, you're one of the bigger things, and you have one of the better safety ratings. And since you're so high off the ground, you have so much clearance that if I were to decide to take this thing off-roading, which I wouldn't want to ding up my paint or accidentally scratch it for whatever intents and purposes. You could, really. But I know most people who buy these trucks would not be taking a truck like this off-roading into deep mud or anything like that. Can you do that? 110%. And the thing is, a trim above this, because this is the entry-level V8, you guys have to remember that. The trims above this one just gives you wanting for more. So if you ever see somebody hopping into the TRX, know that this person has been a lifelong fan of the Dodge brand. Maybe they started off with like a simple V6 truck pushing like simple 310 horsepower, barely any more pound-feet of torque, and then they got into their classic 5.7 ones, and then from there they just kept on growing and growing into the brand. This is why I like driving these entry-level teasers for the average person, because they just give you insights. And if we were to do a quick little brake test, not a full brake test, but this thing has enough braking power to stop such a big hauling hunk of metal, essentially. And the suspension is soft. Again, it's a truck. You're gonna get body roll. I can't be out here complaining about, oh, body roll, and like, look at this body roll. It like wobbles a little bit, but that's where that soft suspension plays in, because half of the time I don't feel the things on the road because of just how smooth it is even. So it's always like a little bit of grain and salt. You pick and you choose. You take a little bit of something and you give a little bit of something. And this thing gives a lot of engine, a lot of reliability, a lot of stability, and a lot of control, because again, these engines have been around forever. You can see how the interior is holding up right now. It's not bad. My AC still works. I haven't had to fix anything major whatsoever. We got our heated seats down here, my heated steering wheel, which is a must have in winter, especially when it starts getting like minus 19 degrees Celsius, minus 20 degrees Celsius. Those are must-haves. And if you're really worried about your gas, I recommend you get the simple V6. The V6 will solve your problems. And if you don't need that much towing capacity, the V6 is always there. There's always a trim level for your needs. If you really want to go balls to the wall, power, craziness, just pure Dodge performance muscle car-esque feel, you could go get a TRX. If you just want a simple daily driver that has a little bit of a V8, has a little bit of throat and a little bit more charisma and personality to it, you can get something like this. You can get the simple 5.7, and it won't exactly break the bank. That's the thing. There's always a trim level for everybody. And the thing is, these things have been out here for so long, you could almost do anything to it. And the thing is, you can modify it if you really wanted to, because again, there's a community base about this. People out here are die-hard Dodge truck fans, and I personally cannot hate them for that. I can't fault them for something like that, because half the time these trucks bring a smile to your face. They give you the confidence that you need. They give you a little bit of extra safety, a little bit of extra peace of mind, for lack of a better word or term even. And the thing is, they're affordable. And compared, okay, if we were trying to compare it to, let's say, a Tundra, because we're comparing full-size pickup trucks, the Tundra beats this one in reliability. And I'll say, yeah, reliability and maintenance costs, because since it's so reliable, the thing barely breaks down. And the thing is, with this one, at least compared to the Tundra, this one wins in the power department, in the looks department, at least in my personal perspective. The new Tundras, don't get me wrong, them things look really, really nice. But the classic Ram trucks, top of the line, whew, I can't whistle right now. I don't know why. I feel that was a pathetic whistle. But again, top of the line, I think the Dodge Rams, from the TRXs all the way to, because we have a lot of trims. We have trims like the Laramine. I can't pronounce that word for the life of me still. But we have so many trims of Dodge. You can find something to fit your bubble, essentially. And since we're going into downtown Oshawa, essentially, you can see how this thing handles, because you can see there's another Ram truck right there with upgraded rims. The guy switched out the rims for himself. There's always something for somebody, and you can never hate it, man. That's the thing. Dodge has earned itself a good spot and niche in the car community, in the truck community, in every kind of community, because if you want a full-size truck, know for a fact that Dodge is gonna be there. And if you think about owning one of these things for the long term, I would highly recommend it. These things aren't gonna leave you stranded, and if they for whatever reason have to, know that repairing it won't be expensive, especially for the 5.7. The 5.7 is always the sweet spot, because again, the engine is barely working hard. It has enough torque, enough power to pull the body like this, and to pull a lot of load as well, and it's still durable enough to be daily drivable. That's why I love these trucks. But anyway guys, this has been Morty giving you my quick little 2 cents on the 2022 Ram 1500 Classic. Take care guys, and peace.